So Andrew, I've been telling about this thing with the cancer guy. Remember that happened? Tell us what happened, this amazing thing that happened with your father and that guy.
Can I start back a little bit? Okay, this might take a while, but I'll build you guys up. Well, I went through for a while a season of, well, I still am, but the Lord teaching me how to hear his voice more clearly. And I was trying to think where to start, but a huge part of the way is I'd lose things, and I'm the worst person in the world at finding stuff. Even when I was a little guy, my mom would always tell me, hey, go to the garage and grab this or whatever, and I'd go out there and I'd be standing there and I couldn't find it, and then I'd tell her, she'd come out and it was like right in front of my face. So anyway, I heard this message about how the Lord wants to be so involved in our lives and all the details that if we just ask him, because like if we lost our keys or whatever, for example, and we look and look and look, we can't find it, and then we could just ask the Lord because he knows where it is. So then I started doing that. I'd start losing things, and I'd ask the Lord, hey, Lord, I don't know where this is, but you do. Could you help me find it? And always, sure enough, I'd find it in the most random ways. Like I'd randomly put my hand down or whatever. One time I lost my wallet, and I started praying. That's part of the way that I met my girlfriend, soon-to-be wife, but that's another testimony in itself. But I started learning how to hear the Lord's voice clearly by losing things. And this way is actually really cool. This is aside from the real story, but I was surfing one day, and I came in, and this guy, I was just in the water rinsing out my wetsuit, and this guy looked at me. He was really panicked, and he's like, hey, could you help me? And I already knew that he had kind of a panicked look on his face. So I said, sure, what's going on, you know? And he's like, I lost my keys here. I was waiting in the shore, and it was probably like chest deep water, and the waves were breaking in there, and the sand was deep, and I was like, oh, there's no way we're going to find these. And then, so then I'm underwater swimming, feeling the ground, and it dawned on me, oh my gosh, I've been praying for stuff from the Lord forever now, and every time he finds it. So I'm underwater, I'm praying, and I'm like, Lord, you know where these keys are? And I came up, and I looked at him, and he hadn't found them yet. And then I went back under, and I stuck my hand down, and boom, I found the keys. And I came up. It was a miracle. I came up, I looked at the guy, and I said, hey, I got your keys right here. And then I heard the Lord. He said, ask him if he knows the Lord. And so I said, hey, do you know the Lord? And he's like, huh? And he said something, and I'm like, I didn't hear you. What did you say? And I'm like, do you know Jesus? And he's like, I'm an atheist. And I said, well, I just want you to know that the only way that you have your keys right now is because I prayed to Jesus. He showed me where your keys were, because it's a miracle that your keys are found right now. And he loves you, and he found your keys for you. And he looked like he saw a ghost. And but anyway, then this one day I was driving, and my good friend Jordan, he used to go here. The Lord told me he was moving, and he was packing, and the Lord said, just go see him. So I pulled down his street, and he was moving some things to the thrift store. He had some boxes, and he's like, yeah, hop in the car and go with me, and if you want to help me. So I went with him, and we're unloading all these boxes, and then there's this huge box, and I look, and it's all these books, like amazing books, because I love reading new stuff about the Lord. And so I'm like taking these books out in this box, and I look at them, and I said, hey, can I have these? Because it was at the thrift store, you know. And so he's like, sure, take the whole thing, stick it back in the car. So anyway, I stuck it back in, and we went back to his house, and we get out, and I was moving it to my car, and he takes this book off the top, and he's like, this is the one you should start with. And it was Smith Wigglesworth, Greater Works. And so I started reading it, and I just was enamored. And so God had already been building my faith with other things. I could keep talking, but anyway, I learned from him that just about the devil, how sicknesses and diseases are, it's not God's will for our lives to have any sicknesses or diseases. It's all from evil and the devil. And he talks about how you have to be stern with the devil, almost like there's this story of this lady with this little dog, and she's going to work, and the dog keeps running out to her, and she's like, "No, honey, you can't come with me. Go in the house." And he doesn't listen. And then finally she says, "No, get in the house," real stern, "Get in the house." And so he goes, and so he's like, I only deal with the devil in that way. And so anyway, long story short, my girlfriend and I went to Disneyland one day, and the whole day, it was an amazing day, but the whole day she was sick all day long. She was sick and kind of under the weather. She had a real bad sinus infection, and her throat was bugging her. And I didn't even think to ask the Lord all day anything. This is one of the first times. But we came back here, and we're at In-N-Out, and we're sitting in the car eating, and all of a sudden I was just spacing out, and then the Lord it was definitely the Lord, because he kind of consumed me. And she's eating her hamburger, and I said, in Jesus' name, I rebuked the devil. And all of a sudden, I could literally hear her sinus clear, and her throat, and she could breathe. And she's like, and you don't even understand how bad it was. The whole day, she couldn't even get air in her nose. It was that bad. So I was like, oh my gosh, Lord, this is amazing, So then we came to church one day, and she got a new book, and I had that book, and we went to the park, and we were reading in the car, and she fell asleep, and I kept reading, and I had already had a little more faith from what the Lord had been doing, but I heard the Lord say, "You're so into this book, and I was like, yeah, this is the stuff I want to see the Lord do, and he says, well, start now. And I was like, was that the Lord? Start? No, I didn't know, And so he said, yeah, go. We were around the corner from this old couple's house, and he said, their name's Frank and Ruel, but he told me, I look at Vanessa, and she's asleep in the passenger seat, and he said, go to their house now and pray for them, because probably 3 or 4 months before, my dad told me that they had cancer, and I just kind of forgot completely. But then I woke up Vanessa, and I said, the Lord says, go to these people's house. We got to start now. We got to pray for these people. So anyway, we drove over there, and we pulled up and parked, and they have a gated courtyard, and I looked inside, and he was doing some yard work, and I was like, hello, hey, and he looked at me. He didn't really, I look like a crazy person, so I said, hey, would you mind if we prayed for you? Jesus just told us to come to your house and pray for you. We heard that you were sick a while back. And he said, oh, sure, come on in. Yeah, and so me and Vanessa go in, and Vanessa's bewildered. She didn't even know what the heck we're doing. But she's ready. She's always ready for whatever. So she walks by faith. But so we sat down with them, and we all were holding hands or whatever, sitting around, and the Lord showed up, and he just filled my prayer with his words. And one of the things I was thinking about after I had told Pastor Mike was, one of the things the Lord gave me to say was that when he'd go to the doctor, that the doctors would be completely surprised, and that they'd be completely surprised that I think that's maybe all I said, sorry. But anyway, so we're sitting there, and we prayed, and Vanessa prayed, and then we left, and he had pancreatic cancer, and he's 85 too. So he had 2 things working against him. I heard that's the worst cancer, and he was old. So then, a month later, I get this phone call from my dad. I had just got done working, and it was a message. He said, Andrew, you got to call me. I got the most amazing thing to tell you. If you don't call back, you're going to miss out on the blessing of hearing this cool testimony. So I called him, and he's like, yeah, he was telling me all about his day. All these cool things happened to him. and a lot of the things, I mean, well, this is besides the point, but anyway, he says, you remember Frank and Ruel? I said, yeah. And he said, well, guess what? I went by their house this afternoon after work and to just see how they were doing, and I think he was taking them some salsa or something. But he said he went to the doctor, and his cancer's completely gone, and yeah, he had a problem producing the right blood cells, and he's producing those. Everything's fine. He's completely back to normal. And so my dad was like, yeah, that's Jesus. He's still doing stuff. And so then right there on the spot, they all held hands and started praying, and then they accepted the Lord, and they were all crying, and it was an amazing miracle.
Awesome.